I'm selling my S2000 for this 918 Spyder. Well, kinda. Let's talk about it. So when the Hamilton collection was here and they dropped off the 918 Spyder, they were vlogging in the corner over here and they were kind of just, talking about some stuff, and naturally things escalated to, would I sell my S2000 for this 918 Spyder? And my gut reaction kicked in and I was like, no way. I want to talk about that because I think it's really interesting. So why was my gut reaction like, yeah, there's no way I'm keeping the S2000, I don't want this 918 Spyder? So I think there's two ways to think about this. So after they left, I thought about it, and basically I came up with the conclusion of I was curious. I was like, why did I respond that way? So I was curious and I was thinking about it, and I kind of want to make a video about it because I think it's kind of interesting. I'm curious if any of you would agree with my decision. So there's two scenarios where this will happen. Keeping in mind the S2000 was my first car, I'm curious, what was your first car, and was it special to you? Was it important? And how much would you pay to get that car back if money wasn't really a problem for you? So you have hundreds of millions of dollars and you want to buy your first car back. What would that cost? What would you pay someone to get that first car back? Okay, so two ways this goes down in my opinion. They're all hypothetical, it's all crazy, so we're just kind of having some fun here. So option number one, I can trade the S2000 for the 918 Spyder, but I can never sell it. So I have to either keep the S2000 forever or I have to keep the 918 forever. I can never sell any of them. So there's no money changing hands here. Literally just titles are switching and I have to keep the car forever. And maintenance would be included. So I don't have to pay any maintenance on the 918 Spyder. I can just drive it and have fun with it. In that scenario, I believe I would keep my S2000. I would not trade it. We're going to talk more about why in a second, but that is what I would probably do. The only way I think I would possibly trade the S2000 for another car in that situation would be if it was maybe like a Jesko, like a Koenigsegg Jesko, or maybe like a Koenigsegg Gemera, it's got 4 seats, I could drive the family around in it. I think those cars were wildly cool. I don't think anything's cooler than that in my opinion, not that a 918 isn't cool, but okay. So option number two, were like a scenario, right? So I don't want the car as much as I would want the money. So if I was gonna buy this, if we were going to trade, I would probably end up trading and then just selling the car and taking the money. So then it just becomes, what's my car value to me? What's my first car's value to me? So if some insane crazy person were to give me over $2 million, like 2.5 million or something, I would probably have to think really hard about that and then probably sell it. Because in that situation, I can take that money and I can put it into a stock that would pay really good dividends, or I can buy a bunch of real estate that would pay me monthly income. And I can use that and basically have like 100 grand or more a month, or I'm sorry, 100 grand or more a year in free passive income, and it would basically set me up for life where I would never need to worry about money. I would have a little more freedom in my life than I do right now, not that I don't have a lot of freedom currently. And that would be the beginning of being able to start kind of like some generational wealth where I would be good, then my daughter, who's 2 months old right now, would be good, and her family could be good as long as everyone treated that money correctly. So that's worth selling my car for, to have that kind of situation out of it. So I'm not really all about the money or anything, right? I think a lot of the people that know this business and me and what I do in this business, I talk about that all the time. I'm really not chasing money. So that's why the car is worth money that can become something, but I'm really not interested in the car because I think a lot of people would switch cars because they would want, I hate this word, but they would want the clout of being oh, I've got a 918 Spyder, and they would want to be seen driving it. I don't care about that at all. I literally live in a place where there's not a lot of people, so I'm not here to show off because there's no one around. It's you know what I mean? So that's a different thing that people are going after. So to get back into what I said I would get back into. So why would I keep the S2000 instead of trading into a 918 Spyder? So I would drive this 918 Spyder for 3, 4, 5 years. I would love every second of it, but eventually I would just get a little bit bored of it. It would just be like another car. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, I wouldn't care as much about it. It would just be a car that I own, that I've driven and I've experienced, and that would kind of be the end of my excitement, I think. I don't know, but I think that would be how it is. I've owned that car, I've owned the S2000 since I was a senior in high school. And I have so many amazing memories with that car. I learned how to drive stick on that car. I bought that car not knowing how to drive stick, so my dad had to drive it home. He taught me how to drive a manual transmission in a parking lot, which was a cool story, which I kind of talked about in a different video. I'm so attached to this car. It means so much to me. It means so much. That S2000 means so much more to me than this car behind me that I have no history with. It's just like, it's hard to wrap that into words, right? Like in a time where I was going to college and stuff, like I didn't really know what I wanted to do. It was a really stressful time in my life, and I didn't really know what I was supposed to do yet. I hadn't figured out that I should start this business yet, and I was having a hard time in school because school wasn't really for me, so that was really stressful. One of the only things in the world that made me happy and really relaxed was driving that S2000, which is, I keep pointing over there, it's out of frame. So there's a lot of like passion and memories and important life events that are attached to that S2000. So 5, 10, 15 years after driving this 918 Spyder, I would want to drive my S2000 again. I would want that car back. And I would rather own that car for the rest of my life and have that personal attachment. It's like a relationship. You know, I have created a very personal relationship with that S2000. And to get rid of that would be almost the same thing as having a relationship with a person and then being like, I never want to see you again. And like you'd trade that for something else. So it's hard to explain that, I guess. I'm curious, do any of you feel the same way in terms of if you could have your first car back, and would you trade it for this car? I feel like a lot of you are going to trade it for the 918, and I totally understand. But yeah, I'm curious, guys. Tell me what your first car was. Tell me how important it was to you. Tell me how much would you pay to buy back your first car, because I'm curious what the answers are going to be. Because I know a lot of you guys might have had first cars that weren't very fun, almost comical. But I know some of you guys had some cool first cars, and you want those cars back if you could find them. So I still have mine, and I don't see any time soon. I don't believe I'll be selling that car, so it'll be around for a real long time. So that's gonna wrap up this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.